A Missouri family is mourning after its patriarch died in a parking lot after a hospital refused treatment, they said. Greater than read more trending news. Sadie Bell said her husband David went to the emergency room at Barnes Jewish Hospital twice, and the third time he was released and died in the parking lot while leaving to seek treatment elsewhere, KMOV reported. Content continues below. Sadie Bell said they went to the hospital twice the week of January 8 after David Bell, 39, complained of severe chest pains. Staff refused to admit him both times, she said. Instead, they prescribed him ibuprofen and sent him away. Bell, the director for Central County Fire and Rescue, was rushed back to the same hospital January 12 when he started having trouble breathing at work, KMOV reported. When Sadie Bell arrived, David was seated in a wheelchair outside of the building. She said doctors refused to examine him. She started taking him to the car so they could go to another hospital when he died. The hospital said it could not comment because of patient privacy laws. They did make a statement. Our thoughts are with the family after this loss, as well as with the entire Central County Fire and Rescue team, hospital officials told KMOV. A crowdsource funding account was set up to help pay for funeral and other costs. It is with profound sadness and the heaviest of hearts that we announce the passing of Central County Fire and Rescue Board Director David Bell. David leaves behind a wife, 3 young children, and a host of family and friends who will miss him dearly, including the entire CCFR family. David led our CCFR family through some very challenging and difficult times these past 3 years, and you certainly succeeded in supporting us in more ways than we could ever begin to list out here, the agency said on social media. We are all better for having known and worked with you to support and protect our community. We overcame some tremendous challenges and accomplished some amazing things under your leadership. The legacy you've left behind has undoubtedly made our community safer and better for having you at the helm for the past 3 years. It is with profound sadness and the heaviest of hearts that we announce the passing of Central County Fire and Rescue. Posted by Central County Fire and Rescue on Tuesday, January 19, 2021. Copyright 2021 Cox Media Group. Trending now.
We went because it was close.
It's a decision Sadie Bell says she regrets.
I know I can't blame myself, but I wish I would have taken him somewhere else.
I just turned 38.
Her husband, David Bell, died in the parking lot of the Barnes Jewish St. Peter's Hospital after he'd been complaining about severe chest pain.
He would give his last to anybody. I felt like what he was going through was urgent. And that's what I thought emergency rooms were for.
The weekend of January 8th, she took David to the ER twice. Both times, she says, medical staff refused to admit the 39-year-old father of 3, only prescribing him ibuprofen and diagnosing him with an inflamed heart. Bell went a third time, but this time, while at work, it was a fellow employee at Central County Fire and Rescue who took him. Sadie Bell says the employee became concerned after David started having breathing problems.
I called him. I said, what hospital did you take him to? He said, I went on and took him back to Barnes Jewish because I know that's where y'all had been going. I said, oh, I just wish you wouldn't have took him there. He said, well, why not? And I said, because every time that we have taken him, all they did was give him ibuprofen and send him home. And I really think they're missing something.
When Belle got to the hospital, she says her husband was sitting outside in a wheelchair. After begging doctors to run tests and admit him, she says they refused.
He said, well, ma'am, he's already been here twice for the same thing. And we already diagnosed him.
Fed up, they decided to go to another hospital. But then
we got halfway to the car. And he said, oh, Sadie. And I said, baby, what's wrong? And I started running and screaming, help me, please help me. His arm went up, his eyes went up back his head, and he slumped down, and I already knew it. I knew when he needed the help, they didn't help him.
Belle says she believes her husband received a lack of treatment because both doctors and medical staff dismissed him. Now, both she and medical reports that we found say that African Americans often have a high mortality rate because they don't receive the same level of health care as white counterparts.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't help him.
Numbers from the American Medical Association show Black Americans' mortality rate is 24% higher than white Americans. One of the main contributing factors the AMA points out is doctors not addressing pain levels from Black patients.
I don't want any family to feel what we're feeling right now.
News 4 reached out to Barnes Jewish for a comment. They told us due to privacy laws, they cannot share details on Bell's case.
When people come to ask you for help and they need help, I shouldn't have to come 1, 2, 3 times. I shouldn't have to be sitting here grieving my husband. My children shouldn't have to not have a father.
Kirby John H. Caldwell has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for scamming investors out of millions of dollars. The 67-year-old was a former spiritual advisor to Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama and was the senior pastor of Houston's Windsor Village United Methodist Church. Acting United States Attorney General Alexander Van Hook says Caldwell used his status as a pastor to convince victims they were making a legitimate investment, but instead he used the money to pay down his own credit cards and mortgages. He's set to report to federal prison June 22nd. Katie Johnston for CBS 11 News.
I showed it to my mom and I said, I don't know how to answer this.
12-year-old Xavion Hopkins didn't know what to think when he was asked how he would punish slaves. He just knew it wasn't right.
My mind was blown. I just stared at it for a second.
When Mom Desaria Irvins read the question,
I was just taken back. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
the question appears to be about the Code of Hammurabi, an ancient code of law which talked about how to punish slaves thousands of years ago. Irvins says the students should have learned about it differently.
How does this make you feel? Is this right or wrong? Lots of different ways to pose the question on this time that took place and the things that took place. But to pose the question as, how would you punish this slave? Come on.
When I came in, he said, Mama, they was talking to us about slaves. And then he said he thought that was over.
Priscilla Jones says her son George Brockman didn't understand the assignment, and neither does she.
Explain to me, why did you put that lesson out there? And did you ever read that sentence? Did you think that would bother anybody?
She's considering taking George out of the district.
When your 11-year-old is hurt by this, and which he can't really understand what's going on, that hurts you.
Now she's having tough, important conversations.
To explain to him, it's not nothing wrong with him being Black, and he is not a slave.
All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, starting at verse 10. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. All right, let's start out by giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakudash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach, and of course where I learn this truth. All right, so as you've seen in that compilation, all right, them 3 clips. All right, this is the judgment that's coming to 2/3 of you Negros, Hispanics, and Native Americans in various ways. All right, in the first clip, all right, you had the Jake, all right, who was a firefighter and whatnot, and you know what I'm saying? He went to the hospital. He wasn't feeling well and shit. And what them damn devils do? He went to a Jewish hospital at that. And what they do? All right, they left him outside in a wheelchair. All right, to fucking die. All right, and that was all judgment. You know what I'm saying? Through your how by was shy, because that Jake, if you look at him, all right, you could tell he was conformed to the ways of this wicked ass world. All right, bald ass head. All right, a government job. All right, he's a firefighter and shit. So you know he's amongst you damn Edomites, you so-called white folks, but you are not white, you're red. All right, so it's letting you know he's around them more than he needs to be. All right, he it's one thing to work with these damn devils and, you know what I'm saying, do what you got to do, but, you know what I'm saying, this man was loved by the community and was loved by, you know what I'm saying, all his co-workers, as the article in the video said. All right, so he was a friend of the world. All right, and he got a judgment of a worldly individual. All right, then in that second comp, all right, what was that one? All right, and you said you had the so-called pastor, All right, spiritual advisor, as they labeled him. All right, he was a he was had ties to George Bush and Barack Obama. All right, and you see where he's at now. All right, he's went to prison. All right, for the shit that he was doing. Okay, and then in this last clip, you seen these damn Edomites in Wisconsin. All right, they was talking about slavery and shit, and they was, you know what I'm saying, they asked the students what would they do with an unruly slave. All right, and you seen how the nigga woman, how she reacted. All right, she didn't know what to do. All right, my question to them women, all right, where are these children's fathers? All right, you had 2 male children and their mothers speaking with them, but where are their fathers? All right, and if their fathers are in their lives, you know what I'm saying, that's who should be, you know what I'm saying, teaching them, you know what I'm saying, the ways of this world. But hey, if you ain't in this truth, ultimately it don't matter, all right? Whether you're a male or a female. If Yahweh Shema Shai hasn't shined this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding onto you, it's nothing you could do. All right. You pretty much in the hands of Yahweh Shema Shai, and that's a fearful thing, all right? As it says in Hebrews 10:31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. All right, and 2/3 of our people are there, all right, and they put this shit on them going way back when, all right? When they cursed themselves, all right, when they gave up Yahweh shall to be crucified, all right, they said, let his blood be on us and our children, all right. This is Hebrews 10:31. It say, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, all right. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why these things are happening to 2/3 of Jake, and they don't know what to do, all right. You seen all the nigga woman could do was fucking cry, all right. She was telling her son, you're not a slave and this and this and this bullshit, all right. We were brought over here to be fucking slaves, all right. And that's how you know you women ain't supposed to be teaching these young men, all right? Let me go to Deuteronomy 28, all right? And I'm going to jump down to verse 68. It say, and the Lord, Yahweh, shall bring thee into Egypt, talking about America, spiritual Egypt, all right? As it says in the Revelations 11:8, spiritual Sodom and Egypt, all right? Sodom for the homosexuality, and Egypt for the slavery of the Negros, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? The Israelites according to the Bible, all right? And to prove that, you know what I'm saying, when we came out of Egypt the first time, we walked, all right, with Moses, all right? We didn't take no ships, all right? America is spiritual Egypt, all right, because going back to Ptolemy and, of course, you know, the way this world is governed, all right, America has a lot of the Egyptian ways, all right? Esau, the so-called white man, which he is not white, he is red, in the scriptures is labeled as the Egyptian, all right? In Isaiah 19, when it tell you the Lord gonna come into Egypt again with his chariots, all right? He didn't come into Egypt the first time with chariots, all right? So let me read this, continue on and say, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold to your enemies for bondman, meaning slave man, and bondwoman, meaning slave woman, and no man shall buy you, and the word buy is there is really redeemed, meaning nobody can get us out of this this captivity but Yahweh Shema Shai. And I misspoke a while ago. When Yahweh Shai delivered us from ancient Egypt with Moses, it was a chariot there. I'm sorry, I misspoke. All right, it was a chariot that got between us and the Egyptian army. All right. But the chariots didn't destroy the land of Egypt, all right, so to speak, all right, the way it's going to destroy the land of America. That's what I meant to say, all right. It's like if I confused you, all right. But yeah, the chariots were there, of course, but they weren't destroying, you know what I'm saying, the land of Egypt, all right. The Egyptian army, you know what I'm saying, was drowned when the Red Sea came back together, all right. It wasn't destroyed through the chariots the way America is going to be destroyed, you know what I'm saying, as the scriptures say. The chariots are gonna shoot their laser beams, so like you're gonna shoot their laser beams, and these other nations are gonna fire their missiles on this place. All right, that's the indignation of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, his chariots, all right, gonna be shooting out laser beams, the so-called UFOs, and Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is gonna have these other nations shoot their ICBM missiles. All right, their nuclear missiles over here as well. All right, that's how this place is going out. All right, but as I just read in Deuteronomy 28:68. It said the Lord, Yahweh, was going to bring us into, you know what I'm saying, so-called America, the Americas, you know what I'm saying, because we're scattered through the four corners. When you go up to verse 64, it say, and the Lord, Yahweh, shall scatter thee among all people from one end of earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, all right? So that's why, you know what I'm saying, Jake is big into that Christianity shit, all right? That Jake, that was a firefighter. You seen he was singing with his daughters. I'm pretty sure they was singing some some fucking Christianity hymns or some shit. All right, but look at him now. All right, where did that get you when you needed it? All right, when you was praying, all right, to be healed of your illness. All right, Yahweh Shema Shai turned his back on you. All right, because you were of that of the world. All right, you was following behind sweet red Jesus. All right, you weren't following behind Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, in the same way these wicked ass Eve women, all right, are not teaching their children, you know what I'm saying, to know who their enemies are, all right? It's one thing for them not to know the scriptures, all right, because a woman ain't supposed to necessarily be teaching the scriptures anyway, but she is supposed to teach the children, all right? And these young men need to know who their enemies are, all right? These black women will tell their children, all right, to turn the other cheek and to love everybody, to pray for them, and to do all of this. And at the same time, these children are prey to these other nations, all right? Esau don't give a damn, all right? That's why he can make a fucking lesson about what would you do with an unruly slave, all right? Because Esau knows what time it is. Esau, as fucked up and wicked as he is and bitch made as he is, that damn devil does have a rulership class mentality, all right? He does somewhat have that in him, all right? It's effeminized and it's effeminate compared to the world we in today, because, you know what I'm saying, that masculine vibration has been taken out of this earth. But nevertheless, the only whatever, let me just continue on. Let me get another scripture, all right? All right, this Proverbs 22:6. It say, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. All right, so you're supposed to be teaching your children as young, you know what I'm saying, young kids, what to be like and what to expect and how to move in this earth, all right? But you know what I'm saying? We understanding this truth, all right? This is in this time we in right now, only the elect are gonna receive what Yahweh Shema Shai has for them, all right? 2/3 of our people have been numbered to the sword, all right, and they're gonna be put to death on this side, all right, whether they're you know what I'm saying, an adult, a child, or a newborn, it doesn't matter, all right? This is Romans 11:7. It say, what then Israel had not attained that which he seeketh for, but the election had attained it, and the rest were blinded. All right. And who blinded them? Yahweh Shema Shai. Verse 8. According as it is written, Yahweh had given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. All right. So even, you know what I'm saying? That's why 2/3 of our people, this is no helping them, all right? The best thing you could do for a 2/3 is to pray Yahweh Shema Shai that you're not one of them, all right? This is Romans 11:9. It say, and David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their neck and bow down their back away, all right? So even King David was praying that you 2/3 didn't wake up, because he understood that only the elect is gonna get this, all right? The what it say in 2nd Ezra is 9, let the multitude perish that was born in vain. All right, so you know what I'm saying? A lot of the shit that's going on right now is because judgment is coming forth for your sins in this life and your previous lives, all right? Let me get this. This is 2nd Ezra 9 and let me see, hold on. I think it's 20. I think it's 22. All right, yeah, 2nd Ezra 9 and 22. It say, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. All right, and that's talking about the elect. All right, 2/3 of our people were numbered to the sword. All right, Zechariah 13 and 8 tells you, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. All right, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, this judgment is coming forth. All right, and the scriptures also tell you, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. All right, but dealing with them young kids, all right, them young Jakes, them young men, because, you know what I'm saying, they almost at the age of adulthood. This is Jeremiah 31 and 22. It say, how long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For the Lord Yahweh had created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. All right, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, these women, all right, are leading these households. All right. Let me go to 1st Ezra 4 and 26. All right. So like if y'all hear that, it's some my little nieces and shit just pulled up. All right, slack you 1 second, I can. All right, Esau won't let me load this up. I'm gonna read it anyway. This first Ezra 4:26. It say, "Yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes." All right, and then it also says, "Many also have erred, perished, and sinned for women." All right, yeah. Now it pulls up the next verse. It say, "Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women." All right, so a lot of Jakes have died behind these wicked women. All right. Let me go to Psalms 83 to deal with the list of the Israelites' enemies, all right? Because that Jake that got left sitting out in the wheelchair, all right, in front of the Jewish hospital, that's because, you know what I'm saying, Amalek, all right, the chief house of Esau, all right, they hate you as well. All right, this Psalms 82 and 1, it say, "Keep not thy silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head." All right, so it said hate thee. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." All right, now it's from the name of the nations. The tabernacles of Edom, all right, the so-called white man, all right, number one on the list. And the Ishmaelites, all right, the Arabs, all right, Moab, the so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, all right, the Hamites. Verse 7, then you got Jabal and Ammon. Ammon would be the Japanese, and then you see, and Amalek. Amalek is the chief house of Esau. All right, and the scriptures say the Lord will have a war with Amalek from generation to generation. Let me get it right quick. Oh, I spelled that wrong. All right, this is Exodus 17 and 16. All right, and it reads, "For he saith, because the Lord hath sworn that the Most High Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." All right, showing you that these damn devils hate us. All right, from the top nation of Esau to the bottom nation of Esau. All right, and we in this truth. You know what I'm saying? We hate them motherfuckers too. All right, it's you 2/3 who don't know who your enemy is. All right, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, you falling victim to them. All right, I'm gonna close out in that in the book of Sirach 12 in verse 10. All right. When the scripture tell you never trust thine enemy, all right. And we just read who the list of the enemies of the Israelites was, all right. We just read it in Psalms 83, all right. And you so-called white people, which you're not white, you're red. You were a part of that list. It labeled you twice. It labeled you as Edom, meaning the whole house of Esau, and Amalek, meaning the top house of Esau. So that's letting you know right there who the enemies of the Israelites are, all right. And then when I read in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, it say when we got off them slave ships, we were gonna be sold to our enemies as bondman and bondwoman. All right, so you know what I'm saying. You women who are teaching these children, you need to get a man who knows this knowledge. All right, this is Sirach 12 and 10, and let them teach the young men of Yasharala. All right, not you fucking women. All right, I'm pretty sure them Jakes was what she say they was in the 6th grade, so they coming up on the age of 12 here pretty soon. So all right, it's nothing you women can really do with them anyway. All right. This is Sirach 12 and 10. It say, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." All right, so never trust your enemy. All right, verse 11. Let me get it. Verse 11, it say, "Though he humbleth himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place." And that's what them fakes in that land doing right now. They saying they the people, you know what I'm saying, of the Bible. They don't say Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, they say Hashem. All right, in the name. Who in the name of who though? All right. And they don't even believe in Yahweh Shai. All right. It say, "Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be prickled therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come not wild beast?" All right, so you don't feel bad for Jake when they get fucked over by Esau, because they should have knew who their enemy was. All right, this word has went out all right, through the four corners of the earth, all right, through YouTube, all right, through the men of the Lord on the highways and hedges. Some form of fashion, you people have come across this word, all right, and you either accepted it or you rejected it, all right, and you're gonna pay for whichever choice, you know what I'm saying, you chose, all right. They that see, what is it? I'm gonna get it in Job. I'm gonna close out in Job. Let me read this last thing though. Verse 15, it say, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. All right, and that's Esau. All right, he's a serpent. All right, he's more subtle than any beast of the field. All right, that goes back to Genesis. All right, let me see. Verse 17: if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. So that's why you're not supposed to trust these damn devils. All right. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. All right, meaning he gonna fucking flip on you, all right? That's what these damn devils do. They flip on each other, all right? Let me go to Job 4 and 7. All right, I'm going to close out with these last two scriptures. They say, remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? So nobody dies innocent, all right? Every spirit on this earth has been on this earth before, and they live out a judgment that was given to them in the heavens by Yahweh Shem Shai down here on this earth, all right, whether it be a righteous lot or a wicked lot, all right? Talking about you Jakes, all right? You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right? Verse 8, it say, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. All right, so if you know what I'm saying, you reap what you sow. If you putting out wickedness in the earth, you're going to get wickedness back, all right? That's why that Jake died in a wheelchair in front of his woman, slumped over and shit, all right? And that's also why, you know what I'm saying, that other pastor and shit, you know what I'm saying, is going to jail for his dealings and shit, but Yahweh Shema Shai is going to deal with that nigga even more, all right, on the left-hand side, because he ain't even killed him yet, all right? So that nigga better repent. Ain't no telling how many people this nigga done led astray, all right? Verse 9, it say, by the blast of Yahweh they perished, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed, all right? And 2/3 of you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are going to be consumed by Yahweh Shema Shai, all right? Through his sword Esau, all right? The sword of the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai, as well as his chariots, all right? He's going to be melting you people. Esau going to be slaughtering you people, all right? And then the ICBMs are going to burn this place up, all right? That's the end game for America. All right, so I know I was all over, you know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shema Shai wrote this out, that was edifying. Close out. With that, give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.